Hey everybody, it's old folks here. So slash all those Jason nightmares you had if you grew up in the 80s is here. Basically, he is a tank and currently is considered by many to be a sleep counter tank. Obviously, against the sleep team, you're asleep till you get damaged. This guy's damaging you every time he takes a hit if you're on his team. So let's take a little bit here at his skills and we'll kind of go over it. His first skill is a torture mask. Basically, this places a mask down, and for 4 seconds, it takes everything. So your team's pretty much invulnerable for 4 seconds, which is pretty awesome. After that 4 seconds, it explodes. It deals damage to nearby enemies, and it lowers their energy. If you destroy it before 4 seconds, it deals less damage. Currently at level 10, it reduces energy by 88. We're going to play this bad boy here. Ooh, it's so awesome. I'm going to throw this mask at you. That's it. And then it explodes. Boop. Hey, look at you. Kind of interesting. Soul Chain. This is kind of the big kicker here. This is the kind of your early skill you see come out. Change his soul basically to the rest of his team and transfer 50% of the final damage taken by him to his teammates. It's spread equally among them, and it's also reduced the damage by a certain percentage. Now, at level 32 skill, it's 83.8. Every point that you increase it is 0.2%, so every 10 points is, or every 5 points is 1%. So basically, if I say I've got 50 more, I'm basically looking at another good chunk of change. I'm going to hit that almost 100%. You know, it's going to be pretty crazy. Let's see here. My math's kind of off. So if my math is correct, at level 90, the skill, you're going to be taking about 95% less damage. If that's correct, if it maintains that 0.2%. So that's going to be interesting. So let's say he takes 1,000, or we'll just use 10,000, and there's 4 teammates. Now if you've got a Noel and Snow, obviously there's more. It's kind of cool. So he's going to transfer 50% of that. So instead of taking 10,000, he's going to disperse 5. So I've got 5 people. Those 5 people are all going to share 5,000, which means 1,000, and then it's going to be decreased by 95%. They're going to take 50 damage? I mean, okay. So he saved half of his damage, and his team each took 50 damage. Big whoopie doopie. So it's kind of one of those cool things here. You know, they've got this little thingy on him. I mean, they're taking next to nothing. So that's pretty awesome when you start to consider it. Now, how that truly works out in the final playthrough, we don't know. But remember, every time they get damaged, they get woke up. So it's pretty amazing in the sense of it's going to help keep people alive and not sleeping through everything. This here, this attack is really going to get kind of interesting when you start to think about it. Slices an enemy with his chainsaw, dealing magic damage and absorbing the enemy's energy. At level 21, it's absorbing 66 energy. I bought 10 just I want to show you here. So damage is increased. Obviously that's going up, but the energy also goes up. For 10 points raised it almost 10 more points. Remember when you start playing this with a vortex? So now I'm giving a tank who's going to help prevent my vortex from being slept. Something that can hit multiple people, obviously, if they're in front of him, as that just did. And the ability to absorb energy. Holy moly. And then finally, this is Feast. Regens health for the whole team during battles. So basically, funny. Just the pose. The whole team's basically going to regenerate health. Now, again, I'm going to drop a few just to drop a few here. The health regen goes up. Basically, you know, 10 points it's gone up there. So it's 452. So every 5 seconds. Now, that's not a huge amount, obviously, But it adds up when you start to think about this. If it continues on that same rate, you're looking at about 1,000 health, maybe, or so every 5 seconds for your team. Fight lasts, let's say, 40 seconds. You know, you've got 8 of those, so you've regenerated 8,000 health. That's not bad. You may not need a healer. So let's talk a little bit about his gear real quick. Obviously, standard chain armor and all that other tank stuff. Nothing major going on down here. Item-wise is, you know, the Dragon's Blood increases your armor. This bad boy, I don't even know why I use that. Increases the hero's attack speed. It could be theoretically beneficial in hopes that as you increase the attack speed, you're going to be doing your skills more. Again, it'll have to be weighted to be play tested, not really something I can comment on at this moment. And then you start looking, oh, I guess it's just lagging in there and showing up on it. So anyways, I don't know what it's doing. That's going to frustrate me. Let's do this. There it is. All right. You got the golden apple. Obviously, that'd be pretty awesome in the sense that you're going to reduce the ability to be stunned, silenced, or imprisoned, which for him, you want him to get his skills off. So I think this will probably be the best item through Orange 1. Remember, we all can usually get to Orange 1. Orange 2 is the hardest, but I think that's going to be pretty amazing for it. And then finally, the Ethereal Shield. This basically is your counter to the Wings of Origin team, so that's kind of the big thing. So kind of item-wise is I'm probably going to run increasing the attack hero speed, or I'm going to run the Dragon's Blood just to help regen a little bit of stuff. But when I get to Orange 1, I'm definitely going to go with the golden apple. Team compositions, a lot of discussions here. Obviously, do we see him being a main tank swap out? Now, he's not going to, when we look at our tanks here, I'm not going to have a taunt. I'm not going to have a knock up ability, and suddenly I'm absorbing a ton of, you know, life back. I'm not going to have pop-ups here. I'm not going to have a mass stun. I'm not going to be getting into the middle of the team, disrupting them, stunning, any of these things that we see on a lot of these other tanks. You know, it's kind of one of those, well, I don't know. But what he provides to the team is a true counter to sleep, but he also provides a tank that takes 50% less damage. I mean, that's huge. Huge. 50% less damage. And on top of that, he's going to help heal your team. You know, it may not be a ton. He's going to steal energy from the team's main tank, which if you pair that with the Vortex is great. You know, put that on a team, energy stealing team. He's a 2-star free hero, but I see a lot of potential in this guy to be an off tank. Do I think he's going to be a main tank? That's going to be waited till we see him at the, you know, orange level. Obviously, he's going to have to be 5 stars or better to truly measure that. You know, comparing this at a 2-star is impossible. But I think he has a strong chance late game to be one of the more powerful heroes, especially against some of the current metas. It's going to shut down a sleep meta to some degree. It's going to shut down if you run into a lot of Wings of Origin. You just pop on the orange 2 item and bam, suddenly you're helping negate that. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here to change some of these metas through a free hero. So I'm impressed with him. I think he's got a lot of potential. Again, that means you've got another hero that you're going to have to spend time leveling up. We're going to go to the events. We're going to go to sign in here. Sign in. Obviously, right now, the only way to get these is through the sign in. You know, if you're a VIP up through 9, you know, you're going to pick up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 more. And if we go to hero, I need a hero. That was bad, probably. You know, those 50 is going to get you 7, 21, 28, 35. Yeah, that's going to get you a 3-star. So at that point, you still have a large chunk to go. But I think he's got a lot of potential. So don't count him out. I think look forward to him. If you're starting a new account, definitely I think if you started this month, you know, in the last few days, like I'm on my VIP 0 account, I'm probably going to start leveling him. In fact, I'll probably
truly phase out my Uther and start working on him and Jacob, and see how far that takes me. Let me know your thoughts. Definitely, I think great potential here. And as Peter Parker's uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. I think this guy's going to have some great power. I will talk to y'all later. Have a great one.